Welcome to the Village Verdict. Let's get into it. My wife is pregnant with our first child. She's due in the beginning of August. We live in the same state as her family, but my family is international, a 5-hour flight plus a 2-hour drive. Before we got married, we always spoke about traveling to visit my family and how frequently we would do so. The plan was always to spend Thanksgiving with her family and Christmas with my family. My parents have not been very accepting of my wife and are very upset that I settled in another country. My sister, who lives 10 minutes from my parents, is expecting a baby in November, and I would very much like for us to visit and make the trip over Christmas to see my family, new niece, and have my grandparents and cousin meet my new baby. My wife refuses since she doesn't feel comfortable flying with our baby before she's 1 year old and doesn't want to be around my parents while she's 5 months postpartum. I understand her concerns, but I'm sad because opportunities for my family to be all together are rare, and I feel like our original expectations around holiday and family access have changed significantly. Should I push for her to fly over Christmas? Ooh, this is a rough one. This one is definitely multi-layered. Number one, we have family origin and expectations. We have a little bit of tension there where the spouse and his parents don't actually get along, or there's some kind of tension in their relationship. And then we have super valid concerns about traveling with a baby and, just agreements and understandings about how you want to approach international travel with babies. And so one of the main things here is just considering what is going to bring mom peace. In this time, we know that postpartum is forever. There's a lot of conversation right now that's talking about, I think one of the more recent research that I read in the last couple of years was that it could take up to 10 years per pregnancy for the body to properly reset. Now we know that your body doesn't actually go back to itself or its pre-pregnancy self, but in terms of healing, resetting, getting all of your levels back, it could literally take up to a decade. So definitely within the first 5 months and definitely within the first 2 years, there's so many fluctuations and changes happening in that mom's body that if they're not comfortable being around other people, or they just really want to focus on them and the baby and your family at that time, that's completely valid, especially when you're involving international travel, and especially when there's already tension. Like, there's no reason there to go out of their way when you know that you're going to be interacting with people that likely don't even like you. So the incentive there is missing as well. When it comes to the baby, there's a lot of valid reasons to not travel with a child under 1. I am not sure exactly of what this particular wife's spouse's reasons are, but that's definitely something that you guys should be discussing as a couple. You mentioned here that you had discussed what your desires were before you got married, how frequently you would travel. Things change, especially having a baby, depending on your baby's personality, depending on different shifts and changes that have taken place within your marriage before you had the baby, during the pregnancy, and after the baby. All of these things are cause for readjusting expectations. And so it's not necessarily wrong of either of you to be sensitive about things not going the way that you expected them to go, but especially as a husband and as someone who may not truly understand the intricacies of it all, it's also important to validate and highlight your wife. You decided to move to another country. You decided to settle and marry someone in said other country. And although you want to be around your family, you want to please your family, your extended family, they're now your extended family. And so it's really about what is best for you and your wife and your baby, the health of them mentally, physically, and emotionally, making sure that they are sound, making sure that you have updated agreements between the two of you about how you're going to move forward with visiting your family and coming up with a plan. Pushing her to fly over Christmas is not something that I think is at all going to be beneficial for your relationship, for her health and healing, or even for the baby. I want you to also keep in mind that depending on which countries, they're not mentioned here, that you're traveling to, there's certain vaccinations or medications that are required for travel. There might be, depending on your baby's temperament, I don't know if the baby is colicky or not, but really considering how your baby, the readiness of your baby to navigate international travel. For some people, it's a breeze. I have one or two of my children were a breeze to travel, but the third one, not so much. And so this isn't really like a one size fits all situation. You really have to consider your wife's healing, where she is physically, her comfort level, the baby's temperament, development, and the comfort level around having that baby exposed internationally. And while I also want to validate and say that I understand that you are feeling like you're missing out, right? You want to be around your family, you want the cousins to know each other, you want to meet your niece. Those are absolutely valid feelings. But once you guys come together as a family in your current unit, in whatever country that you're in, that now becomes your priority above everything else. It becomes your priority above your grandparents, above your parents, above your sister and her family. And as hard as that may be to understand, getting this part right, especially right after having your first baby, I do believe it will do wonders for you and probably save your marriage for you to consider your wife and child. What do you guys think? Have you guys ever had to approach traveling with a baby postpartum? Are there expectations that you and your spouse maybe discussed early on and then you had some drastic shifts take place once the baby came? Let's talk about it. I want to see in the comments below. In this particular case, yes, I do think that it's absolutely unreasonable to really push for your wife to fly internationally with your newborn baby over the Christmas holiday.